Can you hear me?
It's not working. Right, everyone, if I could ask you to take your seats, please. Just let Jamie.
Jack, I've got it. Thank you.
Councillors and visitors, please remember to switch your electronic devices to silent. Welcome, everybody. I'd like to also welcome those viewers who are at home watching the meeting via the live stream. Tonight's meeting is being held both in person and via Zoom. Masks must be worn at all times, please, in the council chamber unless you're addressing the meeting. Please be patient if there are any technical difficulties arise. They'll be dealt with as quickly as possible. If you wish to speak on an item, please raise your hand so that it can be clearly seen. When it is time to vote on an item, please keep your hand raised until your vote has been confirmed. Just a reminder that it remains mandatory for everyone to have registered with a safe WA QR code or the hard copy register. That now brings us to the opening prayer. Councillor Proud, if you could please read out the opening prayer. If everyone could stand up, thanks.
Almighty God, we ask you to guide us in all our discussions, to show goodness, honesty, understanding and wisdom in all that we undertake to do. May we respect each other's views at all times, and we ask this in your name. Amen.
Amen. And Councillor Sandri, have you got the Acknowledgement of Country with you? No, then I might go to who's got it in front of them down there. Councillor Lagan, if we could ask you to read out the Acknowledgement of Country, please.
On behalf of councillors, we'd like to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Whadjuk people of the Noongar Nation, on which this meeting is taking place, and show our respect for elders past, present and emerging.
Thank you. If you can all take your seats. Without prior approval, any recording of this meeting is prohibited. No action should be taken on any resolution of council prior to written advice from the council being received. That now brings us to item 1, which is the official opening. Ladies and gentlemen, I declare the council meeting of the 1st of March 2022 open at 6:32 p.m. Attendance and apologies. Councillor Andrea Criado is an apology. In person, we have Councillor Farrelly, Ferrante, Hatton, Kristovich, Lagan, Olo, Perkov, Deputy Mayor Proud, Councillor Ree, Sargent, Thornton and myself. And on Zoom, we have Councillor Migdale, Councillor Sandri, and we also have our internal auditor, Kerry Flynn, who will be on Zoom. Item 3, approve leave of absence. I have nil. Item 4, disclosures of interest. All the disclosures from the Audit Committee can be seen in the agenda of the tonight's meeting, and they're displayed behind me. For this evening, councillors, do you have any other disclosures that you wish?
Mr Mayor, I've just handed one in.
Yep, thank you. And if you... There you go. On item 12.2, RL1, is it? Yep. Grants funder impartial as the patron of the Inglewood Little Athletics. That's Councillor Lagan. Are there any other disclosures? No. We'll now go on to item 5, which is petitions. Item 5.1, an e-petition on the speed cushion removal, North Beach Drive, Osborne Park. Councillor Thornton.
Yes, thank you, Mr Mayor. This is the e-petition as written. We, the undersigned, do respectfully request that the council removes the speed cushion outside 119B North Beach Drive, Osborne Park, due to the noise it creates when vehicles such as trucks and trailers go over the cushion to Waldex early in the morning, which disturbs my sleep. Please remove the cushion as it is dangerous to pull into and out of the driveway with 2 cars. We have to be mindful of many other obstacles when entering and reversing out our driveway. The cushion makes accessing my driveway difficult and dangerous. The previous owner was elderly and slept in the back room, so she didn't hear the noise caused by the traffic over the cushion, going over the cushion. And this is the hard copy petition. We, the undersigned, do respectfully request that the council please remove the cushion outside of the house as it is dangerous to access the driveway with 2 cars. There are many obstacles when entering and reversing out of the drive, including pedestrians, a designated bike lane, speed cushion, a concrete curb, an island with a tree on the medium strip directly in front of the drive, and a power pole in the middle of the driveway. The noise caused as cars slow to go over the cushion is loud, especially trucks and trailers, which seem to be many due to Waldex. Also, noise of cars doing burnouts on the cushion.
Right. Thank
Thank
you
you.
very much, Councillor. Councillors, are there any unverified petitions you'd like to present this evening? If not, can I have a mover and a seconder to accept those petitions, please? Move Councillor Farrelly, seconder Councillor Reid. Just a show of hands, please, councillors. That is unanimous. Item 6, responses to previous questions from members of the public taken on notice. And those that were taken on notice during that meeting will appear in those minutes. Item 7, public question time. We have received some questions. I will ask Mr Ellis. Nice to see you tonight. If you'd like to come forward, please. And just that button on the bottom for us to start it off. Your name and suburb, and away you go.
Peter Ellis in Corrine. Good evening, Mr Mayor, councillors, hard-working staff and fellow ratepayers. Can you please advise how many sedans and SUVs are in the council fleet, please?
We can certainly respond to you in writing,
Thank
Mr
you.
Ellis.
Can you please, how much was the percentage pay loading for the 284 employees who transferred to full-time employment from part-time casual in the financial years ending 2018, 2019 and 2020?
Yes, we'd be happy to research that and provide you that in writing, Mr Ellis.
Fantastic, Mr Mayor. Can you please advise that when the council sells a sedan or an SUV, i.e. when the council bought a new Toyota for the CEO and sold a Mercedes sedan, which account do the funds go to?
I was thinking of a funny answer for you, but let's just stick with let's respond to you in writing, Mr Ellis.
Okay, Mr Mayor, I can take it, you know. Thanks very much.
Thank you. Roland Hadley, please.
Good evening, Roland Hadley, Woodlands. On the 29th of November 21, the city paid SMEC Australia $97,204. The invoice details, note the word details, were other consulting services. Bless you. What did the ratepayers get for $97,204? And what advice was kindly rendered by this company?
Thank you. Ms Hawkins.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you, Mr Hadley. I'll need to take that on notice and check that and give that in writing.
Thank you. On the 1st of December 2021, $81,377 was paid to Major Motors. The details were recorded as vehicle parts and repairs. I have queried these descriptions, narratives for many years, as it is most unlikely that $81,000 would be spent on parts and repairs. The amount, more likely, refers to the purchase of 1, 2 or 3 new vehicles. Who knows? Can the council cease this coding, parts and repairs, and accurately report new vehicles allocated to whom? Do we employ an auditor in this government?
Yes.
Thank you. Third question. With the proposed changes in local government announced by the Minister a few weeks ago, has the administration undertaken any changes yet to its accounting procedures and financial reporting and anywhere else within the city.
I wouldn't have thought so. Ms Hawkins?
Thank you, Mayor. Mr Hadley, no, we haven't made any changes as yet.
As yet. Any idea when?
These are in response to the reform package.
Correct.
So the reform is only out for consultation with the community and with councils at the moment. So there's no new reform and no changes that have been asked for. So I can't imagine we'll be doing any changes until they're enacted.
Okay, thank you.
Arnold Davies.
Arnold Davies, Curragh. Good evening, Mr Mayor, councillors, staff and members of the gallery. Why didn't the City of Stirling prevent a large flowering red gum being removed at the south-west corner of Francis Avenue and Davenport Street, Curragh, before the apartments were started? The application to build these apartments was made after the implementation of the tree canopy policy by the City of Stirling. It was a mature tree, probably about 6 metres high.
Mr Rodich?
Thanks, Mr Mayor and Mr Davies, for your question. As part of the assessment of that application, any impact on street trees would have been considered, so I'm happy to look at the assessment and provide you with details of the City's assessment, noting that that approval and any condition relating to that development was approved by the Joint Development Assessment Panel, not the City of Stirling, but I'll have a look at the assessment and provide an answer to you in writing.
Thank you. Why was no hard copy of the Curragh Activity Centre discussion papers available at the Curragh Library for the ratepayers to access? I went to the library on Thursday to access the papers and there was nothing there.
Yeah. Mr Rodich?
Thanks, Mr Mayor. Mr Davies, I believe there was a number of hard copies provided to the Curragh Library because I was advised that 4 copies were picked up. That might have been after that you have raised that, but look, it was an online interactive presentation we provided seeking comment. Look, it's one thing, if we didn't provide them at the start, we definitely did provide them within a day or two at the Curragh Library, and whoever asked for a hard copy, we did provide them with one.
I'm one of many people in the City of Stirling who are not on computer, and this is becoming harder and harder for the people. I'm in a group where there's about 12 people and there's one person on computer. They're seniors, and the City of Stirling's leaving us behind. I've been a ratepayer for nearly 60 years in the City of Stirling.
So, Mr Davies, it would be normal practice to provide hard copies. We're not against providing that. We apologise if there was any crossover. This originally was going to be an in-person. Obviously, with the COVID restrictions, there were some late changes, so there could have been a crossover, but we apologise if you didn't get them.
Well, yeah, the first meeting that was held regarding it, I didn't get the notification until the day after it had been held. You know, it's quite a few slip-ups happening. Did the City of Stirling permit the BGC to remove the public telephone box which was behind the fenced-off area where the apartments buildings are being constructed in Francis Avenue, Curragh? That has suddenly disappeared in the last couple of months.
Look, I think we'll have to investigate that one and get back to you in writing on that, if that's all right, Mr Davies.
Thank you. It is City of Stirling land that it's on.
Sure.
Thank you.
And that's all I have for questions. Number 8, applications of leave of absence. Are there any requests for a leave of absence, councillors? No indication. Item 9, confirmation of minutes. Councillors, can I have a mover and a seconder to accept the minutes of the ordinary meeting of council held on the 15th of February 2022? Moved Councillor Sandri, seconded Councillor Kristovich. If I could have a show of hands, please. That is that no?
Mr Mayor, I'm sorry, but I'm just trying to work out, in that meeting, council meeting, I didn't speak to you about it, so my apologies. And
Just quickly, just a quick question, because
well, I just felt that the questions that were asked from the floor, even though they're related to something to do with my, what I could do, they weren't allowed to continue. And
No, councillor, let's just vote on this. If you want to vote against it for something silly,
look, I'll just vote against it because
Yeah.
I think that they
Okay,
could.
councillors, all those for? And against, thank you. All for, Councillor Farrelly against, thank you. Item 10, announcements by the presiding member. Councillors, at our last council meeting, we resolved to make undertakings on several clauses of the Meeting Procedures Local Law 2021. I'm happy to advise that the Joint Standing Committee on Delegated Legislation has accepted the council's undertakings and the city has completed them. The local law will remain in effect and you will be provided with the updated copies in due course. Item 11, unresolved business from previous meetings. I have nil. Item 12, reports and recommendations from committee. We'll now move to the Audit Committee items. No alternative motions were submitted. Councillors, are there any items you wish to pull out? Councillor Ree?
Yes, please. May I pull out 12.1, oh, sorry, my apologies, 12.1 EA1 on page 20, please.
Yes, you may. What we'll do is we'll pull that out and we'll deal with that at the end of the meeting behind closed doors because it is the audit report. If there's no other items to be...
It's not a major question about finance, it's just a clarification thing.
Oh, we can give it a go if you're prepared. Yep. Yeah, just remembering it is confidential, so if we head there, we'll pull it out. So that item being pulled out, 12.1 EA1, Independent Auditor's Report, Financial Report. Councillor Lagan as mover of the recommendation. As chair of the committee.
Thank you. I'm happy to move the recommendation.
And
when
now
I
mover
find
of the recommendation.
I just wanted to check. So, Mr Mayor, I'll move the committee recommendation that council receives the audit findings from the end of year June 30, 2021, and that the moderate rated findings be listed on the management action plan. That the minor items be observed, listed and reviewed by the executive team for completion. So I'll move that.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that motion? Councillor Kristovich. Councillor Ree, you just got a clarification or a question? Yes?
Thank you. On page 71, because it does actually become part of the minutes, so it's not, it is actually out there in the public realm. Thank you. With the long-term employee benefits and the provision, I thought with the new accounting standards, there's a difference between long service leave and how it's kept, that it's supposed to be, one lot is, if they have more than 3 lots of long service, they have to take it because it's a liability on the organisation. And so they were supposed to separate those out so that, because it's a liability, that if you've got more than that. So I would have thought that we would have separated them out. I'm not asking the amount, I'm just saying I thought that
Just the
was
way
a
they're
change.
reported.
Yeah, so is that not true? That's supposed to be like that now?
Ms Flynn, are you able to provide comment? Ms Hawkins?
Thank you, Mayor. And thanks, Councillor Ree. What we have to do is we split them as current and non-current assets, but the non-current element is anything that's over 12 months. So it's not about the number of long service leave, it's actually about it's over 12 months, and that's how we show them in the financial statements.
Happy? Yes?
So we are separating long service from annual. You're only talking about long service for this though, isn't it?
Yes. Ms Hawkins?
Thank you, through the Mayor. Yes, so we separate annual leave and long service leave, but for the long service leave we show it as current and non-current.
Thank you. Thank you, Councillor Ree. If there's no one opposed to that, I will put that item, so that's 12.2 EA1. All those in favour, please. That is unanimous. Thank you, councillors. And now, Councillor Lagan, as chair of the committee, can we have the balance of reports, please?
Yes, Mr Mayor, I move the balance of the report.
Thank you. Is there a seconder for that? And seconder, Councillor Farrelly. And just a show of hands, please, councillors. That is unanimous. Thank you. Councillors, we'll now move on to the Community and Resource Committee items. No alternatives have been submitted. Councillor, are there any of these items that we need to pull out this evening? If there's no indication... Oh, sorry, Councillor Proud.
There's T.
Sorry, I just need your mask off. I can't hear you.
Page 180, 12.2 TE1, there's an amended, does that have to be pulled out?
Sorry, I'm not sure of your question. What?
So page 180.
Sorry, Councillor, I can't understand you with the mask on.
Sorry.
So 12.2 TE...
12.1, sorry. Oh, that's 12.2. My apologies.
No, you're okay? So there's no items that need to be pulled out or wish to be pulled out. In that case, Councillor Sargent, if we go to the balance of reports, please.
This will be the easiest one I've ever had to do, Mr. Mayor. I am
Don't mess it up then.
happy and ecstatic to move the balance of reports.
Thank you. Seconded, Councillor Proud. Just show of hands, please, councillors. Councillor Sandra, yep, and that is unanimous. Thank you. Members of the gallery, please be advised that all of the community and resources were passed en bloc. None of those items were pulled out, so the committee recommendations carried this evening. Item 13, reports for consideration in accordance with section 4.24 of the meeting procedures local law of nil. Item 14, notice of motions for consideration this evening. Councillor Proud, you wish to read one out, I believe? You wish to read out a notice of motion?
That a report be presented to Council at its meeting to be held 22nd of March 2022 regarding a $10,000 donation to the Lismore City Council to support their devastated community affected by the 2022 East Coast floods. So moved.
Thank you. Item 15 is questions by members of which due notice has been given. I have nil. Item 16, new business of an urgent nature. Yeah, that's all right. I've got you here. I'm getting to it. So just an explanation there. Councillor Ferranti wished to submit this notice of motion. It is time sensitive and it doesn't require a report. It's something that can easily be made a decision on. So we've agreed to put it through as new business of an urgent nature. Councillor Ferranti.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. This is an opportunity that's presented itself since the weekend, actually, and it's a timely one to look at an opportunity as far as the City of Stirling goes. That the motion that I'm putting forward this evening is that the Mayor writes to the Premier, Mark McGowan, to move the abandoned Fremantle Key Film Studios location to the existing Whopper site in Mount Lawley. In addition, that the Mayor and Ward Councillors and relevant officers prepare a presentation so a value proposition can be discussed in the meeting with the Premier. So moved.
Thank you. And that's seconded by Councillor Migdale. Yes, clarification if you want before we vote on it.
While it's got a lot of merit, it doesn't actually say the financial or if it's been brought back to Council of Finances. So should it not have somewhere in there about the financial implication, or are we saying by writing that we should get that information back, maybe?
Oh yeah, and I think this is very premature to worry about any financial implication. This is purely an opportunity to try to get something fantastic in the city. So if there is no one opposed, if anyone's opposed and wish to debate this item, if not, I will put that item. That is unanimous. Thank you, councillors. Item 17, matters behind closed doors. There is no reasons we need to go behind closed doors because nothing was pulled out to go behind closed doors.
12.1 from Councillor
No, it's just a clarification.
That's right. You're trying to complicate my life up here, you two, aren't you?
Keep going.
With that, that brings us to item 18, which is closure of the meeting. I'm very impressed, councillors. That brings us to the closure of the meeting at 6:53 p.m. Thank you, everyone, for your attendance. Sorry for those of you hoping for a long night of viewing, and good night, everyone.